Aloha, friends and family, and welcome back to the reading of Ascension, the shift to the fifth dimension. Greetings. We are the Arcturian Council, and we are pleased to connect with all of you. Past life memories and integration. It is a perfect time for you all to be considering what it is you would like to know about yourselves. As you grow closer and closer to the point where you will simply be your higher self, you are accessing more and more of the memories of who you have been in previous lifetimes. But you have been far too many beings in far too many time periods and dimensions and star systems to remember all of them. That is why we are suggesting that you decide for yourselves which aspects you want to integrate now, which memories you want to bring to the surface of your consciousness, and which abilities you want to tap into. The lifetimes where you have developed psychic, channeling, healing, and other abilities are ones that are particularly interesting, and they can also give you some new tools to play with as you access them. Now, of course, you are opening the floodgates a bit here, and you are going to access memories that are not so pleasant, but that's part of the integration process. And you have to take the bad with the good and become the whole you again. Just know that when you are accessing something about your previous lifetimes that you find unpleasant or downright disturbing, you are not that person now. You have evolved from that point in your history, and you have decided to be the beautiful being of light and love that you are right now. It is going to make it easier for you to accept the warmongers, the dictators, and the other beings who are playing in the dark when you recognize that you have been there as well. And that is how remembering serves you. We invite you to ask for these memories as you are drifting off to sleep, or simply close your eyes and open your third eye and see what you see. See which version of yourself is ready for integration, and know that your feelings are the indication that it is real and not imaginary, that it was something that you lived and something that you are integrating. Accessing fifth dimensional abilities. You have awakened within you the abilities that are associated with the fifth dimension, but you do not know how to access them yet. It is like buying a new technological gadget that you've never seen before and not having any instructions available to you. So as you feel for the abilities within you, please recognize that your acknowledgement of them is the first step in gaining full access. You won't be able to access these abilities by lamenting the fact that you haven't accessed them yet. That is counterproductive. So what you want to do is focus. You want to focus on how these fifth dimensional abilities feel as you contemplate them. We are talking about telekinesis, telepathy, and teleportation specifically. There are others as well that you will become aware of as you continue on in your journeys. Feel for the power that is within you. Feel for it vibrationally. Do not wait until you have full access to these abilities before you feel how powerful you are. Many of you have already taken sneak peeks at these abilities. You know that at times you access them, if only for an instant. You also know that you are becoming your higher selves. And what that means greater access to so much more than these abilities. We recommend that you don't get fixated on them or on any one of them. Instead, we want you to continue to feel for your power and feel for the consciousness and the vibration of your higher self. Your higher self has the instruction manual. When you act, speak, and think as your higher self would, you bring yourself into harmony with that which you most desire. And in doing so, you help others gain access to their higher self and to their fifth dimensional abilities. You are about to have a lot more fun than you've been having. Your past, present, and future. You sometimes find yourselves looking at your past, and in the process of looking at your past, you remember things. But you remember those things from your present moment perspective. From your present moment perspective, you might feel much differently about your past than you did while you were living it. And that has everything to do with the overall vibration that you were holding back then versus your overall vibration in the present moment. This can cause you to feel guilt, shame, regret, sadness, and anger around situations, events, and circumstances that you didn't feel any negative emotion around at the time. It is important for you not to judge who you are now and who you have been. Therefore, if you are going to look back at yourself in the past, we suggest that you do so from a place of compassion. We suggest that you look at anything from your past through the eyes of unconditional love. There's nothing that has ever happened in your life experience that you need to now fix and make better in some way. This is one of the reasons why you are often told to be present. The present moment version of yourself is really the only one that matters. And if you have people in your life who continually try to get you to go back in time with them to relive some aspect of your past, you can help that person or those people to be more present by holding your consciousness in your present, no matter how hard they try to get you to go to the past with them. Your lives are yours to define. Your lives are yours to live, and your lives are yours to continue to create. So we recommend that you don't let anything from your past determine who you are deciding to be in this moment and what you are allowing yourself to create. Creating the future that you want means being present in the moment that you want to be in. Allowing your past to control any aspect of you or your life is also a choice. And it's a choice that doesn't serve you. Be present. Be who you want to be. And let go of everything else. Going with the flow. It is all about the way that you look at something. This is what determines your experience of it. Therefore, when something is appearing to be detrimental to your experience, to the enjoyment of your life, you really do want to change the way that you are looking at it. It is most important factor in whether you are enjoying your life right now. You have that free will that goes beyond what you do or do not do with your lives. Your free will is also about deciding how much you are going to enjoy your lives versus whether you are deciding to just suffer through them. It may not be easy to change the way you look at a circumstance in your life, but it is the challenges in life that are making it interesting. If everything were easy, life would be boring. So take the challenge to look for that silver lining. Look for it with the knowing that it is actually there. This is not about pretending that you are enjoying something. This is not smiling through a feeling of sadness we are talking about. We are talking about making a gradual shift in the same way your ascension has been a gradual shift. Once you let a simple shift in your perception in, you will open the floodgates. There is great relief in letting go of attachments. If you were attached to going to the beach, then the rain would be much harder for you to accept. But if you can adapt in the moment and use the rain as an opportunity to explore something else, something you wouldn't have normally considered, that's going with the flow. That's how you allow energy to move through you. And that's the life that we want for all of you. Measuring your spiritual growth. You are expecting to feel something much different in order for you to accept that you are changing, raising your vibration, and raising the level of your consciousness. But you cannot always measure these things. You cannot always detect changes, so we are here to help. We want to help you measure the progress that you've made as individuals by getting you to look at some very important facts about yourself. Are you more empathic than you were 10 years ago? Do you care more about the earth and her environment more now than you did 15 years ago? Do you feel more compassion for others now than you ever have before? Do you have a better relationship with animals than you have had at any other point in your life? Noticing things about yourself, small things, this is the way to measure your progress. You don't need to hear a little voice inside your head and know that it is coming from an ascended master to know that you are progressing spiritually. Instead, notice how differently you react when a family member of yours says something derogatory in your direction. Notice how much you care about people that you've never met before. Notice how interested you are in seeing equality, world peace, the end of violence, discrimination, poverty, and famine. You don't have to be the answer to all of these things to know that you've grown as a human being. We just ask that you notice with your intentions what your intentions are for the rest of humanity. We ask that you give yourselves more credit and be less critical. You don't have to do anything to save this world or her inhabitants. Just be yourself. That is enough. And when you acknowledge yourself, that brings us a tremendous amount of joy. Your ego and your higher self. You are awakening at a pace that is comfortable for your consciousness. It is also a pace that is comfortable for your ego. You often hear people talking about the death of the ego, or you hear about their attempts at suppressing their ego. But you are experiencing your ascension from the perspective of your ego. It is the only way for you to move from knowing yourselves as your egos to knowing yourselves as your higher selves. It is not to be diminished in some way, this perspective of the ego. You are simply expanding it to include more aspects of who you are from other lifetimes and parallel universes. You are reassembling the fragments of the ego so that your ego can comfortably become your higher self, which of course has always been there with you, just waiting for you to come to it and to don its perspective. You don't need to see this as a competition between the ego and the higher self, and you don't need to see it as an either or proposition. You are awakening to the knowing that you can merge your egoic perspective into that of your higher self's perspective. You can become your higher self without defeating or killing any other part of yourself. In fact, all parts of yourself are necessary in order to be the whole you that you are as your higher self. So this journey needs to be comfortable for that egoic perspective. You don't want to take on too much all at once. You don't want to shatter your old way of doing things all at once. You want to bring yourself, all parts of yourself, along slowly, gingerly, with tenderness and care. This is the way you are going to ascend. You are going to upload your ego into your higher self, and when you do, you are going to know the higher self's perspective, and you are going to be fifth dimensional beings. So we ask you to please make the journey as pleasant as you possibly can on this very important, very significant aspect of who you are. Courage, power, and mastery. We have witnessed acts of courage on the part of individual humans that have given us cause to believe that anything that any one of you is facing right now has not a single chance of getting the better of you. You, however, must pay attention to where you are putting your power in any situation. When you put the power in your own hands, you summon the strength and the courage necessary to face any circumstance that you find in your lives. When you give the power to the circumstance, or a person, or a government, then you find yourself shrinking in the face of something that you have created. Humans have been doing this since you began to have your consciousness there on planet Earth. You have created insurmountable odds, vicious villains, and enormous natural disasters so that you would have an opportunity to face something that appeared to be bigger than you, that appeared to be outside of you. You have given yourselves many opportunities to experience what it is like to be courageous. You need not, however, create these circumstances in order to demonstrate to yourselves how powerful you are. Instead of creating obstacles for you to overcome, you can begin to create new experiences, new realities, new worlds that will give you an opportunity to experience yourselves as masters. Masters do not need to prove to themselves that they are powerful or courageous. Living as a master means that you live in harmony with your environment. You coexist peacefully with one another, and you create from out of nothing the most glorious of circumstances. So now that you know how powerful you are, now that you have tested yourselves over and over, You can let go of that old paradigm, and you can let in the experience of mastery on an individual and a collective scale. We know that you are ready. Do you? Namaste, my friends, and we leave you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Until next time.